Hey guys, this is Kajal. In this video, I'm going to talk about 3 points that are important in a job interview in Germany. I'll mention a short story which is actual, happened while I was on the job and a colleague was taking an interview of an aspiring applicant. Even though she had got the skills, she had studied from the top universities, had a lot of experience before, and even though the job she was applying for was for a junior position, at the end, she didn't get the job. So what could have been the reason? Let me start with being all the factors constant. I mean, you've got the skills for the job. Of course, when I say skills are relative to the job you're applying. So your skills can be very good in terms of technicality, in terms of how your soft skills are, what your resume says about you. Everything can be top. But if your skills are not aligned with the job you're applying for, the skills don't matter. So that's where the interview preparation comes in. If you've got the opportunity to prove your skills in the job interview, you take this chance and do the best you can. So if you're leaving it to chance and you're doing the same mistakes in every interviews, there will be a time you'll get exhausted, the opportunities will get exhausted, and then you will be stuck in that loop. The loop where you can't find the job anymore, and the loop where you also lose the motivation. So before you reach there, let me start with the story. So an applicant has got all the experience, although the experience she had was not perfectly suitable for the job she was applying, but although it was a junior position, of course, the company decided to give her a chance to prove herself in the second interview. So in the second interview, she got through all the questions, but she missed a very important point at the end. Let me cut to the chase. If you don't ask any questions during the interview or at the end, then the interviewer might feel that you are not interested. Overall, it's a negative impression. Make sure that you have at least 2 or 3 questions to ask at the end, not related to the to your job job requirements. So not related to something which has already been mentioned in the job description or covered by HR in general. I'm talking about the round where you are interviewing with the department head or someone from your department. In there, you don't ask any HR questions. You don't ask if you have to come to the job every day. So you get my point? You ask questions related to the industry. If you have checked the history of the company, you'll find something that you can talk about in the interview. So preparation is key. Make sure you go through the websites. Make sure you read at least a few news related to the company. You have a few points to talk about the particular job role that you're applying for. Nowadays, every company wants someone who is a bit acquainted with AI. When I say AI, you should know what are the general advancements in your job role. What are the upcoming tools that could potentially enhance your efficiency. It doesn't matter if the company is planning to use or adapt these tools in the future, but you should showcase that you've been going through the trends and you've been keeping up with the updates. So make sure you ask questions. Second, I think this is something that I have been seeing all over again, especially my friends who come from the countries where usually the interviews are question and answer round. So interviewer asks a question, interviewee answers. In Germany, it's not like that. In Germany, it's a conversation. When I say conversation, you're not going to talk about the general weather or your politics, etc. We're going to talk about the relevant topics to your job role, but in a conversational way. So the easiest method to explain that is when the interviewer will talk about your job role, you will add something to the topic. So again, if you've studied enough, you'll find a small topic to add. Next. So if it feels like that it's a Q&A going on, it also gives the impression that when you're on the job, they won't be able to have a good conversation. Usually in Germany, it's normal to have lunch with your colleagues or with the department head or with the CEOs. So they should have this perception about you that they can sit with you and talk about any topic at length. That's the general idea as far as I can understand. Third, when you are in the interview, you are going to focus on the job role that you applied for, not your previous experience. So if your previous experience is different from the job role you applied for, you will make sure not to put a lot of time in explaining that. What interviewer wants to know from you is how well do you know about what your future responsibilities will be when you come to the job. If your previous skills are the ones which the job role needs, then you would try to adapt your answers to the kind of industry that the company is in. So let's say your new job is in e-commerce and your previous job was with an agency. Now you would like to connect your agency experience and how you can bring that experience to the e-commerce, but also focusing on talking about how e-commerce works. So you're not going to talk about how agency works. All right. So I think you get a bit what I'm saying. I will try to explain it later afterwards when I get your comments or your feedback in the comments. So please feel free to let me know, positive or negative, whatever you have. I'll answer them or try to answer them all as soon as I can. And I will, in the upcoming videos, touch upon a few more topics related to the same. And I think that's it. I'll sign off. Bye-bye.